host Weinstein, an award-winning food entrepreneur.
I know a lot of you wonder what to do with your moon pies. Well, I've got some wine suggestions for you. Lemon moon pies, Sauvignon Blanc, Chenin Blanc, or Pinot Grigio.
Stuart Reb Donald, acclaimed food and travel writer and world-class chef.
I was chef de casserole. I made the casseroles in the frozen food department.
For more than a decade, they've combined their expertise to answer your questions and introduce you to the culinary movers and shakers you want or ought to know. Four-time Taste Award finalists, 12-time Nappy Award losers. They are the Dynamic Keep screaming for more. Mike and Stu on FM Talk 1065.
Well, good morning to this wet, moist Sunday morning again. It's 2 days in a row we've had rainy Sundays.
2 days in a row we've had rainy Sundays. We had a rainy Sunday yesterday too.
Last Sunday and today, and this is just
It's the wind.
The
man.
best time in the world to take a nap is when it rains. And the best day of the week to take a nap is Sunday.
no. I'd rather take them during the week
I think
And
7
then-
days a week. So
and get them.
I may take 3-4 naps a day.
It depends on what you eat, don't it? I mean, I can get something like
Ribs.
and I'm out.
Yeah, me too. But hey, welcome
Hey.
to the Sip and Chew Show.
Hey, that's us.
It's a moist day, like I said.
Moist and
it's
chilly.
going to get really wetter as
Really
the day
moister.
goes on.
It's going to get more moisture.
Yeah. So, yeah. How are y'all doing today?
Pretty good, pretty good, pretty good.
Yeah.
Go ahead and get it off your shoulders. Get it off.
Best team won.
Get it off. Yeah.
Yeah, best team won. I don't
Well,
like
we'll do actually tomorrow.
See,
Monday
that's
night, the
something
best
that a
team
lot
won.
of fans can learn.
Mhm.
Sometimes you lose the game because the other team's just better than you.
Yeah.
In fact, 99.9% of the time you lose the game, it's because the other team's better than you.
But tomorrow night,
You support.
actually, the best team will win.
No, actually, the best team won last night. The Auburn Florida game was a national championship. Duke
Well,
has showed that that playing that cupcake schedule all year did not prepare them to go head to head with
Mhm.
other teams with their talent level.
Yeah.
On a nightly basis.
Well, I was talking to Dalton earlier yesterday or Friday, and he said, "You got the game. You want to come in and run the game?" I said, "Yeah." So he said, "Going to Florida?" I said, "Of course." And I said, "Well, I mean, I work for an Auburn station, so yeah, of course I'm going for Auburn." But I'm a Gator, and he said that's fine because Sean's Bama, he's in Dalton's Tennessee.
Mhm.
So we got kind of a smattering, as it were.
Poor old Dalton.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the Gators, they were strong, although they were consistent.
Mhm.
And
The
they
second
were-
half of the season they were.
yeah, I'm not just.
Yeah, and that's
I
why
was
it's a
meaning the
long
game.
season. Yeah.
I
Oh.
was meaning the
Yeah.
game overall. They were consistent. There were a
Well,
couple
Auburn,
they got
they
a little
almost
squirrely,
hit in the first half.
Yeah.
But their shooters went cold. Florida's did.
Well, our
So-
buddy Tony Sawyer, who owns Bob's Downtown Diner at the corner of Fat and Happy, he is a Florida guy.
Okay,
He's a big old Florida guy.
good guy. And he's a friend of mine already.
And hey, all this for the Florida fans out there, you're welcome. Because without Todd Golden being mentored by Bruce Pearl,
Right, exactly.
you're still with that loser you had the last couple of years.
Yeah.
That could never win a game in the tournament.
Exactly.
Yeah. Todd Golden was one of Bruce Pearl's chief assistants. This is his first major
Yes.
head coaching job,
Yes, it
and he
is.
was adamant that it's all blood and guts on the court, but Auburn is my
What I was,
And even Steve, I mean,
Yeah, Steve
he's
Pearl.
not-
Oh, he and
they
Todd
have
Golden.
nothing to be ashamed of.
oh no,
Yeah.
but I
Yeah.
was proud and excited to see how many teams from the SEC got
Oh,
in.
a record number this year.
Yeah, and I mean,
We heard before this. Oh, the SEC's overrated. We get a record 14 teams in the time. Oh, what? And they're like, well, yeah, they just put a bunch of them in that didn't belong to be there. Well, that's how all the bubbles are. It's a bunch of people we don't know if they
it's
belong
almost
to be
like why do you play a season if you're going to have a tournament?
I saw an interesting tweet from a member of the media yesterday that said Auburn and Duke were clearly the best two teams this year, and neither one was in the national championship game. So clearly the tournament doesn't work.
Oops.
He's wrong. The champion is who can handle a one and done situation.
Yeah.
That's one of the problems with baseball and basketball. You don't ever determine a champion. If you give somebody with more talent, more chances, they're going to win. That doesn't make them the champion. That just makes them the more talented team. The champion is the one that gets it done when there's one chance to do it.
And
That's why baseball never determines a champion, ever.
That's
Neither
why you
does
have
professional basketball.
the teams that you have now tomorrow night. Because I mean, Houston came back last night with
And Houston's very good.
Yeah.
Auburn and Houston went down to the wire to open the season. This is the first game of the year, I believe.
Yeah.
In Houston.
Yep.
And Auburn won by like 6, I think.
Yeah.
It was very closely. Houston's been one of the top 4
So
teams.
the biggest question out of all of this competition last night was you said that March Madness is wing season. I want to know how many chickens sacrificed themselves for this. Those are the true champions, man.
I ate a charcuterie board last night, so
The whole board, the chopping block, the
wood,
knife,
no.
everything.
So now what do we go to? Now we got the 8A game.
Oh,
coming
and
up.
baseball. Auburn just beat Alabama this weekend in the
Baseball.
series in baseball. In fact, 10-run rule. Right now, in case you don't know, college baseball has a 10-run rule.
Yep.
If you have a 10-run rule after the 7th inning,
It's
the
done.
game is over.
It's done. Yeah.
There's no giving you 2 more innings because statistically it's not going to happen.
Well, baseball's so boring anyway, and I
But
don't
college
mean,
isn't though.
I don't mean to.
Yeah.
I
But
played
pro,
baseball. I
yeah.
coached baseball.
Oh, it's fun to play.
But I'm gonna tell you, baseball has gotten to be the most boring sport. And people say
I'd rather watch
golf-
soccer than pro
people say
baseball.
golf is boring. No, baseball's so boring. That's why I like women's softball. Women's softball
Yeah,
is faster.
Yeah, college baseball is very exciting too.
My
Much
first wife played softball, and I mean, I was educated very quickly
more.
on how
When we lived in Nashville,
this wasn't just a girl's sport.
when I lived in Nashville, the company I worked for, Stakeout, had a corporate softball team.
Oh, nice.
And my buddy David learned how to pitch a knuckleball in softball.
Really?
You
Well,
could
underhanded?
yes, you could not tell where that ball was going. That dude would have like 23 strikeouts in a game and lose because his team could not hit.
Wow.
But I mean,
Well, I'm saying those girls can wind it down.
yeah, no, this isn't fast pitch. This is slow pitch.
Really?
Yeah, slow pitch. I mean, this is corporate softball.
Yeah. Oh, that's true.
So it's slow pitch, and
I
he
don't
had
know
a
how those-
knuckleball in slow pitch.
I don't know how those girls don't throw their arms out.
Oh, I'm sure they have. My.
You know, a man can't throw like that though. That throwing motion, because the way that our bodies are set up, we can't do that throwing motion. Just like they can't do the one that we
I was
do
about
and
to
get
say,
96
the overhead,
miles.
the
Right.
overhanded.
Well, because the bodies are just designed differently.
My, like I said, my first wife's got a scar right on the chin where she first base and it came right over that glove, just pow, knocked her out.
And most of us in Little League went through that.
Oh yeah.
Or had it, or those of us that played in the outfield had it happen with a pop fly.
I
Yeah.
played and coached right over here at Matthews Parks, right over here, right behind the station almost.
Yeah.
Grew
We
up
got
there.
baseball season. Gymnastics is in the Sweet 16. Auburn made
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Oklahoma is number 1 in the country from the SEC.
Mike makes a point. So what do you, what's the food for the new season coming up here? You got hot
Baseball?
It's
It's
time for-
all the baseball
Hot
stuff.
dogs.
Hot dogs,
Hot
nachos,
dogs, sure.
peanuts, all your
You know, hot dogs is. I look at a lot of food videos, and yeah, they've really just turned the volume up on hot dogs with making them more gourmet-ish.
Mhm.
You know,
I'm no longer
flavor,
ketchup
little
and mustard
no,
flavor.
nobody eats them like I do. I eat 'em.
without the bun.
Oh
No,
yeah,
no.
Kobayashi does.
No, I cut the wiener. You know, I eat it first. I go ahead and put all my condiments in it. You know, on top of the wiener, but I
He eats
cut
a
through it,
deconstructed hot.
and then I get the wiener out of the way, get it, fold it, and then I can eat it like
This is
that.
the only show that you could talk and say wiener. So
Yeah.
there you go.
With a straight face.
And it still be considered part of our company.
Yeah.
So Mike, you have established it. You are the weirdest picky eater on the planet.
I'm not picky. I'm just maybe weird, but I'm
Yeah,
not.
I give you, and there's nothing wrong with weird. Austin, Texas has built an entire personality off just being weird.
Well, yeah, they're artistic.
They're weird. And that is the city slogan. Keep Austin weird.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's the city slogan. 251-343-0106. What the heck is that, Mike?
That is our call and text line to the Sip and Chew Show. The non-award winning Sip and Chew.
Oh, man.
Multi-award snuff sipping cheese.
What's this?
What?
Peppy's in Paradise Photo
I don't
this
even know
weekend.
what this is.
So
There's that's a good
and our advertisers.
topic to report. The picky eater. My son, we had an experience. We went to close now, but on government Highway 98, whatever that is, Highway 90. As you head towards Hillman's Corner, there was a Mexican restaurant that we went to, and we're sitting in the booth, and Chris is maybe 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, about 11. And he said, "What's this?" And it's the green jar, labeled hot sauce. I said, "Oh, man, give it a shot. Don't ask me, because I believe in individuals. You like what you like. I like what I like. She may not like it." He says, "You think it's hot?" I said, "I don't know. Let's give it a shot." Woo, boy. And he still remembers that, as I forced him to do that.
You forced it.
Yeah, I forced it.
Yeah,
I was like, "No, I didn't put the gun to your head."
Just merely suggested.
You just, you said, "What do you think?" I said, "You need to try it for yourself." Now, I'm not going to do that on everything. You say, "Clip, that bridge high." No, don't jump off. But, I'm not that guy. At the same time, it's food. Give it a shot.
I
tried.
He will not, to this day, eat anything
Regardless of what you say.
regardless, and he doesn't do cheese. He doesn't do, your regular cheddar cheese on hamburgers, or he won't do macaroni.
I don't like cheese on my salad.
Really?
Crumbles, maybe, like blue cheese crumbles. I don't like that cheddar cheese shredded finely on my salad.
You are weird.
I don't like the majors on my salad. I want to eat the green leaf stuff.
You like croquette?
No, that's fine. Some nice little nuts on it,
Yeah.
pecans or
nuts.
Define that. We were talking about wieners now. Do you like, what kind of nuts do you like?
That's right, 80%. Don't wait until another tax season ends and another year of penalties and interest are added to your
This is
balance.
Randy from
If you owe
Foley.
at least $10,000 to the IRS and need a new start.
Oh, here we go. Now we have a
one
question.
800-266-1432. That's
Mhm.
1-800-266-1432.
We gotta do birthdays
Let the
and-
No, I'm
professionals
just
at
saying,
Coast
yeah.
One Financial Group fight.
I'm not running the show. I'm just letting you know.
Again, that's 1-800-266-1432.
Well, it's the mayor's
Get the
sin.
latest news
Oh,
from
yeah, Brandon.
Alabama and USA
We
Sports
can't
News.
do that. Go with that.
And he's bringing in your Big Mike Steakhouse. is gonna-
Yeah.
That's the biggest steakhouse.
I don't get that.
1065.
Big Mike's doesn't have theirs in any large city.
Huh?
Orange Beach is the largest city that Big Mike's is in. They don't do big cities.
All righty. Hey, we got you know what today is?
Sunday?
Nationally, it is Carbonara Day.
Carbonara,
Carbonara.
and a wonderful pasta dish from Italy
Yes.
that the sauce is made by adding a raw whisked egg to the noodles while they're still hot,
Mhm.
and it cooks it just enough to make a sauce.
Very good.
But it doesn't taste like scrambled eggs, although it is rather. Traditionally, you want some pancetta with it, which is Italian bacon,
Oh.
and English peas are very common mixed in for some reason. I don't get that, but
That sounds good for breakfast.
yeah, it is traditionally eaten as a breakfast dish
I've seen it.
or in the morning. Yeah,
I've seen it.
great. Now, Olive Garden had a carbonara on their menu that was not carbonara. It was Alfredo.
Yeah.
It wasn't even remote.
I think a lot of people get that confused.
I would. Yeah.
A real Alfredo. America, we don't generally serve Alfredo sauce in America.
Mhm.
When you get Alfredo sauce, you're getting a bechamel. You're not getting
That's
Alfredo.
cream though, right?
Alfredo has 2 ingredients, butter and Parmesan Reggiano, and that's it. There's no
Okay.
milk or cream or anything
It's
like
my
that.
favorite
No butter,
cheese.
no
Oh, I
butter
love
in it as
Parmesan.
well.
Yeah.
That's a real Alfredo. What
Okay.
we serve in America is bechamel. It's a French sauce.
Okay.
Now, I got a question here. Do you say caramel or caramel?
Caramel.
All right. People
Car-
say it's pronounced caramel, and I say you're an idiot. We do not call the process of turning something into a caramel
With caramel?
caramelization. We call it caramelization.
Caramel.
That's it.
The correct word is
That's
caramel.
it.
Caramel is now granted it may be spelled caramel, but Biloxi is spelled Biloxi. It's pronounced Biloxi. It's not our fault the French couldn't spell.
And Mobile is spelled mobile.
No,
My
that's
mom
pronounced.
says that still to this day.
Yeah.
And she'll say Biloxi the same way. It's like, that's how it sounds. No, it doesn't. That's not how they say it. How about Socia? That's
Yeah,
Socia.
Socia.
We get help on that, but we're not going to do that.
Yeah.
Gauche, Socia.
Yeah, exactly.
But
Yeah.
it is caramel popcorn day.
Oh,
So-
okay.
Yeah, just about that.
Which is something you'd have in a baseball game.
And today is,
There you
it's baseball. The other thing you'd have at baseball is beer.
Yeah.
Today is New Beer's Eve.
What?
So I guess tomorrow must be Beer Day, National
New
Beer
Beer
Day. So today is
April 4th, 7th.
Bear New Year, but New Beer
Oh, New
Eve,
Ah,
the day before National Beer Day. And everybody's favorite gourmet dessert, Twinkie. Today is National Twinkie Day.
Today's Twinkie Day.
Twinkie Day, yeah.
The thing that will last until the end of the world.
Well, what was funny, I saw on Die Hard when the cop
Yeah.
was being shot at, and he backed his car down. When he was getting out of the car, he bought those bunch of Twinkies, and he told the guy behind the counter it was for his wife. But when he was getting out of the car, all shook up, those things were just squished. They just fell out of his fingers. But
Hey, I found this for you.
okay,
National Beer Day is celebrated in the United States every year on April 7th.
Yeah.
That's what makes this
Mhm.
New Year's Eve.
Ah,
Eve.
yeah.
New Beer's Eve.
Couple birthdays.
Marking the day that the Cullen-Harrison Act came into force after
There you
having been signed into law by President Franklin Delano Roosevelt.
There you go.
This led to the 18th Amendment being appealed on December 5th, 1933.
Where else would you get information like that?
The 15th Amendment, that was Wikipedia. The 15th Amendment was the proof that just because the majority agrees with something, it isn't right. Slavery is another example.
Mhm.
The majority of Americans felt that slavery was okay. That doesn't make it all right.
That's right.
The majority of Americans felt that it was okay for Andrew Jackson to defy the Supreme Court and go through with the Indian Relocation Act, even though it had been struck down as
Don't
unconstitutional.
get me started.
Yeah.
No.
The American people agreed with Andrew Jackson. Didn't make it right.
Okay.
Democracy.
We've had this guy on here before, Tanner Hammond,
Heard of it.
the Mushroom Man.
Tam the Mushroom.
Happy birthday, man.
Happy birthday.
Uh,
I hope you have a big, beautiful beefsteak mushroom. They come from Carolinas.
man,
Like a portobello the size of a tire.
he's a fun guy.
He is.
Happy birthday. I
Ah.
want to say happy birthday to Jill Shearer. She owns Jilly's Cafe in Robertsdale.
Jelly.
Yeah.
Jelly.
Chuck Cox, who owns Satori Coffee, he's renting the space out to somebody else now, but that was a great place for so long. And big old Brandon Van Hook. Do you know him?
Mayor of Hickory Pit in Sims. And the mayor of Sims. And which is a great segue.
Mm-hmm.
Brandon has done a lot of good things as the mayor of Sims, but you can tell that he is a mom and pop restaurant owner.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Because the new restaurants that have come into Sims under his guidance are from the state of Alabama. There's always, with a community like Sims or Saraland, any of these
Mhm.
smaller communities like I live in and surround the city of Mobile,
Mm-hmm.
it is always the thought that if you get an Applebee's or a Bennigan, that's progress. Chain restaurants are not a sign of progress.
Mm.
They are a sign of regress. There's something wrong with your economy. You should support the local mom and pops. Brandon has brought in Mediterranean Sandwich Company.
Mhm.
They're opening up a half mile from the house. Could not be more excited. And now it looks like the best steakhouse in the state of Alabama, Big Mike's from Thomasville, is opening a satellite in Sims.
Oh, really?
Yes. And this place is fine, man. And they don't have, Mike and I were talking in the commercial break. He thought it was odd they'd moved to Sims. They don't have a single location in Water City. They don't do that.
You know, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That does make sense.
Orange Beach is the largest city they have a restaurant.
I look at,
Maybe Gunnersville.
I look at
I think, yeah.
the what's it, the peach pie. It's a peach pie.
There's a peach pie. I'm all for some peach pie.
Me too. Peach Cobbler is a place, the little place they got a rest. They got one in Saraland and they're putting one in Daffy. They're not in the big cities.
Right.
It does help to go somewhere else. The peach
Rent
factory
is
or something
cheap.
like that.
Rent is
Well,
cheaper
it
in
probably-
Sims
probably-
than it is in downtown.
Probably the city government will work with you better.
Exactly.
Peach
Uh,
cobbler factory?
You know, I
Ooh,
love
that sounds
Mobile. I love Mobile, but they want you to come open a business, but they do everything in the world to put you out of
Yes,
business.
Mobile
To
still
make it
has a
difficult.
reputation for being one of the worst cities in America to try to open business.
Yeah, I love the
It's
city,
terrible.
but
There's a lot of shenanigans going on in city government with small business owners that will eventually.
Like-
the state
like what
attorney
y'all
will
went
address.
Is that
Someone
kinda
will
what we're-
eventually go to prison for
Is
it.
that kind of, is that what we were talking about too? Why it seems like nothing lasts in Mobile? Is that part of that?
well,
that's
the
also
silliest
Mobile.
things that they do. It's like when Stu was open up downtown. They wouldn't let them open certain days. They wouldn't let them open certain days, but only open on certain days. Well, that's
Yeah,
when people are going to lunch.
yeah. Monday, Tuesday,
know.
and Wednesday are the only lunch business in downtown Mobile. We couldn't open Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Is that what?
Well, that
Is
was
that
our
to protect the
facility
downtown
more than
businesses?
anything because of our agreement with the city to get open. Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday were construction days. And
I've
Now,
seen-
my question is, and that is not informed enough maybe, but why? If you're a food
It's-
restaurant,
it's
is
the
how
same
do they
problem.
have the control over food? To
They
me,
didn't have
any
to- they
bacteria,
didn't have to open this at all.
serving things at all.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
could have waited until the construction was 100% done,
Mhm.
but that would have been another 2 years.
How is that related to food safety?
Oh, well, this wasn't a food safety issue. This
It's
was
a
it's
different-
not safe for people to walk around in a construction zone.
Okay,
So Wednesday, they cleared it all up so that Thursday we could open.
I'm a detail guy, so I'm gonna ask why? That's why I never opened a business, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. There was we had to go to a special zoning committee that we weren't even informed of
Mhm.
until the day before they met. And we all had to go meet with,
So maybe
someone
it's-
once told me that
anything gets done.
when Mike Dowell was the mayor, anyone that wanted to open a business in the city of Mobile contacted the city, let them know their intentions. They were then set up with a meeting
Mhm.
with a representative from every regulatory authority they were going to have to deal with. They had to show them their business plan, and they would go,
Mhm.
we're going to need this,
Mhm.
this, and this. The business owner knew exactly what they wanted.
Right.
And I was told that Sam Jones said when he was mayor, that is far too efficient, and got rid of it.
Too efficient.
Too
So,
efficient. Not
in other
enough. There's not enough potential for graft.
I know
Simple as that.
in the wine business, when you try to open up a wine business and you're setting up a warehouse, and you have to go to each department, zoning and mapping, and you got to mail letters out to everybody within 100 yards of your business, and the schools and the churches. You got to let all them know. I'm sorry, folks. 251-343-0106 is our call and text line. I think we got a question when we
Come back.
Yeah,
when we come back.
this is interesting. I want to explore more.
Yeah.
This information update brought to you by Roy Lewis Construction.
So Naismith announced their awards. Cooper Flagg, who choked last night in the Final Four games, cost his team a shot at the national championship. Your player of the year.
Yeah, I saw that.
Did not play anyone good in the regular season. Not a single player was first, second, or third team All-American in the ACC, except him. Played no one all year. Never got called for a foul. Got more foul calls against the other team than any other player in college basketball. Choked in crunch time. Who's your player of the year? The Naismith Coach of the Year award. No Bruce Pearl at all. Just Rick Petit.
You know you want
Rick had a good year,
so come see me.
but there's like 8 coaches that deserve it over Rick Petit. Todd Golden at Florida. Kelvin Sampson in Houston.
Yeah.
Everything inside.
Yeah, I've always questioned the money behind. You follow the money, you follow the
Restaurants, musicians, doctors, artists, media folks.
Okay, the Pete's Cobbler Factory,
Peach Cobbler Factory.
that must be in Daphne.
Yeah, I haven't been to it.
I didn't even know it existed. So they
One
don't
in
know.
St.
It's got a 4.1.
One's in Saraland. The first one they opened was in Saraland.
Sorry,
restaurant. Mobile and Baldwin's most quintessential residents.
Very.
Butts and guts and hoo-ha doctors. Best bartender, favorite radio personalities. Mobile Bay's most
What,
adorable
Saraland?
cat and dog. Many,
Horrible.
many
I,
more. Some might even say too many.
Yeah,
Remember, your favorites make it to the
you know,
photos
living in Tim, we go out.
Be sure to go to
I like the development there on
You can go
the
once per day, per
west side of
category. And of course,
65.
for all of the latest breaking news and commentary,
Once we
check
got
out
into the Publix and
lanyardmobile.com.
all that's going on.
Lanyard, keeping Mobile
Was
Bay
it
local for
Taco
23
Melon? Not
years.
But you know, you go over, I've been into Saraland on a number of occasions, used to work in Alorga. And
I worked in that building, but when it was hurt.
the people there, man, I just don't understand. Very closed.
Well, there's two, there's like 2 Saralands. We've got the everyday Joes, their families, and you got a lot of wealthy people there.
Who made their money while looting Mobile River. They all made their money off the paper plates that were violating EPA.
Yeah, but you got all those executives that live up 43 there that run those fields and all that. And a lot of them live in Satsuma too on the water. They've got big ass houses on the water.
And the state of Alabama. Wake up with the Prep
And,
Sports Report.
you ride back in there, it's
Saturday morning starting at
gorgeous
8 a.m.
places
right here
back in there.
on
It's
FM
beautiful
Talk
land.
106.5.
Here we go.
They are the dynamic duo of dining. Sip and chew with Mike and Stu. Call 343-0106. Now back to Mike and Stu.
Mike and Stu, that sucks.
That is.
Now, you were talking about all the roadblocks to open up a wine business in the state. Finish that up real
Just
quick.
business in general.
Just business in general, you just got, and like you do, like with the Board of Health, you got to submit your drawings, you know, and that entails hiring an engineer or an architect.
Mhm.
And it just adds more expenses. And then you got, with the fire department, you got to have certain, well, still you have to get with an architect there because they go by the national standards of, you know, like fire exits and all that, where you got to have your
Yeah,
fire
no
exits.
issues with that.
Oh, me either.
Yeah,
And,
restrooms, any of that.
but it just adds a lot of cost. It really does. And then you and I were
And
talking
then when
about,
they throw in the stuff that the small government is doing
Yeah.
that they know is illegal,
well, you
but it
look,
makes them money.
but we were
Every
talking,
little government has.
we were talking to Pete,
Yeah.
Panini, our friend Panini Pete, about when he opened up on Dolphin Street downtown. They made him put a box in,
$300 box.
$300 box. He had to order, and you had to put a key to the restaurant in it, and the fire department had a key to that box to open the restaurant if there was a fire. Now, and
If there's a fire, it takes that long to get to it. That doesn't even make sense.
what about who's got the key?
Right, I mean, that's how much time have you wasted and your building's burned down, you're done.
Yeah, especially those old buildings. This just a lot of things that are aggravating.
So with the shipping cost, because they don't let you know that you need that box to open until the day before you open. At no time in preliminary are you ever told about.
I've never
Because
seen
it's
those.
a shakedown. That there's only one company in the country that sells it. In my opinion, it's a shakedown.
But you go, here's the thing.
And they charge you $350 to overnight.
But here's the inconsistency of all. You go around everywhere else, and not everybody's got those boxes. When they open a business, There's not those boxes.
A lot of people are learning with Mobile County not answering to a higher authority, that the citizens are the authority, and they're just telling them no.
Mhm.
You have the right to. If you're not going to follow state guidelines, then we don't really have to follow your
Or like
guidelines.
Mike said, the consistency of it, okay, if business A has this box and it's standard, then why isn't it standard for everyone else?
Mhm.
I've
seen
seen what it
and
is.
then-
A lot of people are just telling them no.
And then on top of that, oh, there you go, okay.
Yeah.
I've seen them. I've
take
seen
to
it
court.
with the Board of Health too.
Yeah.
Uh, especially like with baby changing stations. They made us a couple that was struggling to get their doors open. It took them months, and they made them put baby changing stations in both bathrooms. And then there's restaurants all over town that have opened up since then, and there's not a single baby changing station now.
The word is standard, you know, stick to a standard.
Mhm.
It's like they make it up as they go.
They do. Mobile County does, and they admit it and they brag about it. Yeah, they don't have to answer to the state, and they've been required to tell you, I can make up the rules that go along. Have them tell me that.
Wow.
I've had them. I've seen them accounts that they don't like the color of the baseboard
Mhm.
in the bathrooms.
How does that affect? That doesn't-
Well, they
If
interior
it's dark
decorator.
baseboard, they can't tell if there's toxic mold. Theoretically.
Well, I can see that. I can see that, but
But it only counts if it's a black baseboard. Any other color, you'll be able to tell,
Like a charcoal?
because black is a lack of color.
I want it teal.
So if
with
your
a touch
baseboard
of
is
charcoal.
dark brown and you get black mold, you can tell.
How about speckled? Can I have a speckled baseboard?
yeah, I'd say, what are y'all, interior decorators now?
That's
Board of Health and interior decorators.
why I had the face look on.
But,
What?
in all fairness, we need them. We do need them, and they have.
We need them to do their job.
Well, at the same time.
If they're not going to
where's
do
the
their job, we
border?
don't need them. We don't
Where's
need
the
them just doing
borders?
corruption.
They.
And there are some good health inspectors. The guy that worked with me was just a gem. He cared about the public safety. He cared about the business owner. He cared about bringing it all together.
Sounds like a lottery to me, though.
Being in the alcohol beverage business as long as I was, the ABC board in Aegis, they used to get a real bad rap.
Illegal agency.
They used to get really
They are.
drug over the coals real
Yeah,
bad by
yeah.
everybody, and that we couldn't stand them. But they've done more now, because I had one agent tell me one day when we was getting our license, he says, "Now I like 14.5% alcohol in my Old Vine Zinfandels because it makes it taste better." He's correct.
Okay.
But he said, I buy it out of state. When I go out of state at a restaurant, I'll buy it there.
Mhm.
He said, you ought to try to get the law changed to raise it. And, they drink too. And they go out and eat and they drink too. And some of them have some good beverage knowledge. And, you look at the laws, what it used to be 20, 30 years ago, and look at it now, it's changed completely. And you got
What
certain
is the
areas.
standard here now?
Well, it's 21, 22%,
Okay.
23% now. It's really gone up.
Yeah.
And now this ABC board let go, which I can't stand. They let go of the ports and allow more fortified wines, because those are wines. They're not
Right.
liquor.
They're fortified with sugar, right?
Yeah. Well, they're all from grape juice, grapes. So, and fruits.
Yeah.
And so they allow distributors to sell those now, because we have a better idea of what the public's going to buy. Maybe somebody in Montgomery doesn't have an idea of, to sit behind a desk, have an idea of what the public buys in ports and spirits like that. But we do, because we deal directly with the restaurants. And
You're not talking
the
ports
bars.
as in shipping ports. You're talking about ports and
Port
wines.
wine.
Yeah.
Port wine.
Okay.
Yeah, cooking
Porto.
wines like that.
Porto.
Yeah.
Porto.
And so, they did that. They allowed that to happen.
Mhm.
In the past, they've talked about getting rid of the stores, but keeping the wholesale. Well, you know what? That really doesn't help the free market of competition of have price wars. We don't have price wars here. You can go anywhere else outside the state where you go buy your lottery tickets and spend money at the restaurants while you buy your lottery tickets and buy cheaper alcohol there than we do here.
A lot of our alcohol laws in this state would not stand up to traditional.
Is that because of being a port city?
No. I'm talking about the state of Alabama.
Oh, okay.
Because the laws were written by people who do not care about the Constitution. They cared about a doctrine that they were pushing,
Okay.
and that doctrine is counter to the Constitution.
Well, it's all about
And
the
the primary one,
revenue.
like Mike was talking about, with them having ABC stores,
Mhm.
that's illegal. The state of Alabama cannot do that.
You're not
Their own
supposed-
Constitution forbids.
You're not supposed to compete against private enterprise.
And that's what ABC was doing.
Yeah.
Well, that's what they are doing.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was a
And
monopoly
private
situation.
enterprise is only allowed to
So-
purchase their alcohol from the ABC stores.
So the states,
Control pricing.
So that is a
allowed-
monopoly situation.
it is,
Yeah.
but the states did allow privately owned ABC package stores. But you still have to buy your alcohol from them.
Yeah, the package stores still have to buy their alcohol at the same price you and I pay for it at the ABC store.
You know what the ABC stands for?
Alabama Beverage Control.
Another blackout coming.
Oh, Lord. You say we had a text?
We did earlier. We were
question.
talking about
A
some
question.
baseball food, and Randy from Foley wanted to know the difference, what the correct verbiage is. Is it wiener or weenie?
I am not German. I am American.
I thought it was wiener.
Wiener.
Wiener is
Yeah.
what it's going to be in German.
Exactly.
I've never heard the E at the end of it.
Yeah.
I'm
I
thinking
think-
that's more of a Southern thing. Like there's this one commercial of this tremendously obese woman, and the doctor's trying to help her with her thing, and she goes, "How much water do you drink a day?" "I'll drink nothing but sodies." Sodies? Yeah, sody pops. So that's what I'm thinking. The woman drank like 6 liters of soda.
Wow.
That's more than a human should ingest in a month.
Mhm.
Regionality is something I studied in as a voiceover coach, and I'm going to tell you, we were just talking about what the go sure, so shay.
Mhm.
Where I'm from, it's, I was asked this the other day, is it soda or is it pop? I said, neither. I'm going to tell you what I want. Coke, Pepsi, Dr. Pepper. I'm going to name it. It's not going to, but my kids who were born in Pensacola with a local, everything was, I want a pop.
That's
So
weird.
yeah, it's going to be, so we need
Interesting
to be,
story
where you're from.
Yeah.
Speaking of
Interesting.
weenie and wieners and all that, I like to give a shout out to the guy who owns Red's Hot Dogs over in Robertsdale.
Red's
He's-
hot dogs.
He's been there for decades, and he's got him a cart, like a food truck. And at lunchtime every day, they're lined up. People are lined up. He's been working out of this parking lot that's got big old potholes in it, but people still pull in there. And he's got a really good product, and he's got Alberta sausage and all that on
Yeah.
there.
They
He's
got
got
a
a
festival
variety.
coming up pretty soon, don't they?
Did they just have it? They have it twice a year.
Yeah, they have 2 festivals. They have the Alberta Sausage Festival in the spring,
Mhm.
and then they celebrate Oktoberfest
Mhm.
in October because it's a lot of Germans that sit the
I think
community,
they
which is why they
already
have
had it.
such a sausage country.
Yeah.
You're probably right.
But Robertstead, that guy, Reds, I've gone by there. He uses great quality. And I mean, he is the epitome of mom and pop.
Yeah.
And he works out of a food trailer.
I tried a food truck this week,
Yeah.
and we were talking about Big Mike's Steakhouse
Mhm.
earlier, and Sims. This is Big Mike's and Sims, has nothing to do with the steakhouse as far as I can tell. But I had a great smash burger. They do a
Wow.
smash burger. I did a double patty. Nothing special. What do you want on it? Everything. Just everything. That's all I want. Whatever you got, put it on the burger.
Well,
Last
everybody's
Saturday of March.
okay. Doesn't have it.
We just missed it. Yeah, kind of.
There's I hear over there in the trailer area over there by Bass Pro Shop where they got the containers in the
Mhm.
container yard over there. There's a place called Double D's hamburgers.
Okay.
I hear it. Everybody.
So they
raves
must have
about that.
replaced.
Thank you for clarifying that.
It was Blues Burger.
There was Blues Burger. I like Blues Burger too.
I never got a chance to try them. Every time I went, they were closed for
like the tater tots.
but
They put a truffle.
I ate at Thai Boone
Mhm.
Thai over there. It's really good.
Mhm.
Like that. Of course, you used to have Mandina's over there.
Yeah, it's changed something else, I think.
Yeah, an Italian restaurant, locally owned. I just can't remember the name, so I need to get over and try it.
I do. I never did try it.
Yeah. Well, I went there because I love the one in New Orleans. It's my favorite restaurant in New
Mhm.
Orleans. And in my opinion, it's the best restaurant in New Orleans.
Medina's is where? Where was Medina's?
Mandina's was in Spanish Fort on Bass Pro Shop.
Just past
Oh,
Bass
okay.
Pro Shop.
Yeah, but that road's called Bass Pro.
Okay.
Bass Pro Road. But their trout meuniere is just phenomenal.
Oh yeah, that's what I
And-
wanted to try.
every restaurant on the Gulf Coast should have trout meuniere. That dish is from this region, and why can you only find it in New Orleans?
There might be some other places.
Yeah, but it seems like every restaurant here goes, yeah, trout meuniere is great. We should do that sometime. 251-343-0106. We got one segment left, y'all.
I look up Mandina's, it shows it's there. It's only got a 3.8 star, but
Well, it's not.
Denny's in Paradise voting has begun.
Yeah, it closed about
6
weeks ago.
Yeah. Don't know what's there now.
yeah, I just I see it. No, permanent.
Talk 1065.
Well, that sucks.
I started following Stephanie Stuckey, who owns now owns Stuckey's. She was our guest last January. She's got her page to follow her, not her personal, but her actual Stuckey's restaurant, and she's really been making a lot of posts.
She rolled in here with her log roll.
She sent me that box. Her pecan rolls.
That's MobileBayMag.com.
Lock up your
Convenient.
dreams.
Yeah, I mean, that's one, that's for my,
Have y'all been getting these on Facebook? Hello, I see that you have given a high evaluation to Scanton's Restaurant and Catering. You know, have any good suggestions? I would like to know more. If it is not disturbing you, please PM. That's not a human being.
No.
If you have a question about a goddamn restaurant, go to their Facebook page.
no, there are people like,
But
there are
it's
people like
word
Cookie,
for word like
there are
that.
people like Cookie who don't, but the way it's worded, the verbiage is.
Yeah, the only thing that changes is the name of the business they're acting about.
Yeah.
The rest of the word stays the same.
Yeah, we were talking about that one, Bill and I, with AI. It's just- I get through, what I don't like is WhatsApp.
Yeah.
Well, WhatsApp is a little shady.
WhatsApp exists solely for the purpose of doing things illegal.
Yeah, like that. It's just, you just don't know. I mean, looking for, part-time gig, get all this stuff. Just, God, it's just shit, man.
Make sure you're getting the best.
Now the only thing we got left is UFL. I hate the UFL.
For a free confidential
We hate
consultation.
all
Call
of them.
800-517-9383.
I just don't much care for the UFL. That helps. Kind of like farm league baseball. I mean, I know it's there and it's kind of necessary, but
Well, I guess the people who are craving football.
you know who's one of the primary owners of the UFL?
Attractions have come together to offer the all-in-one ticket that downloads to your mobile device.
Well, he gave AJ Karen something to do.
They wanted to do the, you remember the WWE and McMahon? He wanted to open up he wanted a little league too. Didn't last long.
I don't know where they got about 18, 16.
Yeah, they tried.
Keep playing.
Tickets are sold. Brought to you by Alabama
But with as many,
Tourism.
talent out there, so you gotta do something.
Michael Bailey.
Yes, that's me.
Hey, how you doing, buddy?
All right.
So yeah, tried Big Mike's. Got a burger, fries, straightforward. Exactly what you're. Now, for people who don't hear the term smash burger and don't know what it actually is, starts out as a meatball. Goes on the grill for about 30 seconds.
Just half pound, quarter pound.
What's popular today is about a quarter pound. Fast food stuff,
Take a
which
press.
technically is not a burger, by the way. Anything less than 5 ounces is not a burger; it's a slider.
Okay.
McDonald's does not sell burgers; they sell sliders.
Sliders, yeah.
Nothing wrong with that. I love a good slider.
Yeah.
I mean, Crystals of White Castle, that's all they sell. But
You just brought up a point.
Good.
About that, about the burger, because I asked you this question last week.
Yeah.
I went to a restaurant, and I'm not going to name the restaurant, but every Butch Cassidy's, wherever you go, they'll ask you, how do you want your burger cooked?
Medium well, yeah.
Yeah. And I went to this restaurant and I ordered it and I said, I want it medium well. They said, we're only allowed to do well done.
The restaurant thing, that means they're probably not hiring skilled cooks. They want to make sure it's done. Somebody that They don't want to pay somebody more than $7.25 an hour to cook your burger.
I mean, that makes sense to them, but that, you know, I'm just thinking, okay.
Now,
I like mine like
now
this.
keep in mind, there are a lot of places that ask you how you want your burger cooked when they legally can't do that. If you're using the beef in a tube, which most restaurants do,
Mhm.
or mass-produced ground beef, it cannot be cooked less than medium well. It's not safe. You get one hamburger patty, there's DNA in it from 1,500 different cows.
Oh, wow.
It has to be cooked medium well to be safe because contamination is such an issue. If you have certified Angus beef or you grind on site, you can cook below medium well.
Yeah.
If you want it medium rare, or rare at a place like that one, the state says you have to have a manager go to the table and read them the quote about how uncooked meat can possibly make you ill.
Well, it's on a lot of menus.
Makes
That's
It doesn't need to be said for a rare burger or rare steak because people who eat that know exactly what the risks are.
Yeah.
It's a waste of time.
Yeah. Well,
And that probably just helps them alleviate all of the red tape we were talking about that serves.
I know. I was in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, and I went to a restaurant and I ordered my hamburger. They had this huge hamburger, and I thought I wanted medium, you know, at least medium. And state law in North Carolina at that time, you could only order your hamburgers well done. And so that's why I texted you and asked you about this. I said, have they changed? Because I've had just eaten a hamburger somewhere else a week earlier, and I ordered it medium, and I got it medium. I just don't want it. And the burger was great. It still came out great.
Yeah.
I just
That's
don't
why
want
you
it
do 80-20.
I
So
just
it's still
don't want
moist.
hard and chewy. I want a good juicy burger. And I mean, I don't have to see pink in it. If the pink's gone, that's fine.
Medium well is fine for a burger. There's plenty of juiciness left in it. Now, people will tell me all the time that well done and burnt are not the same thing. Well, no, actually, they are exactly the same thing. Well done means you cook the moisture out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And people will tell you, oh, no, you can have a steak still be moist. No, you cannot. You think it's moist because you only eat well done steaks. If you ate a mid-well steak, you would know there's no such thing as a juicy well done steak.
Right.
Not cooked on a grill. You can do it in an oven over a long period of time and have no problems with it. But you're not eating a steak then, you're eating a very tiny roast beef.
And it can be confused too, like when they put the butter on it, that means quote juicy, can they, but somebody might.
That's fat.
Okay.
What you're going for with that.
Still, but I mean,
Yeah, but it
somebody
is
who's
moisture,
uneducated would think,
Yeah.
that, you know, it's a
Yeah.
juicy steak.
And you'll notice that most people that put steak sauce on their steak eat their steak well done.
Now,
That's because they cook all the flavor out. Extra well done, which
Doesn't make sense that way.
which honestly, if I had a restaurant, I would never cook you an extra well done. Go somewhere else. If you don't care what the flavor is, why are you coming
that's
to my
why
restaurant?
you need A1
But-
sauce.
But extra well done, by definition, is no moisture left.
Wow.
Burnt. It should be like a charcoal
Well,
briquette.
they got strong
I
teeth.
get about a dozen of them a
Jerky.
week. Yeah. Oh no, jerky would be much more palatable. There's no flavor left in this.
Yeah.
Extra well done. It serves no purpose to me.
I got told one time.
Just eat
if
some
you want jerky,
crackers.
go somewhere else.
Yeah.
You know, if you want to.
But,
And here's something too on the well done. No one in history has ever eaten well done steak or burger because they think it tastes better. It is always a psychological reason for choosing well done.
let me tell you,
It's not a
Their
flavor.
mother or their daddy.
I just don't like to see the red on the whatever the reason is. I mean, it's what
Yeah.
that person's going through.
Yeah.
But it's psychological, which means it's made up. It's in your
Yeah,
head.
yeah.
I like beef ribs. And when I do my beef ribs,
Mhm.
I do them in the smoker. And they're in there a long time. Now, the meat, when you cut it, it looks well done.
Mhm.
But they're falling off the bone. They're delicious.
They're burnt.
No, they're
But barbecue competition standards, that's overcooked. But they also don't do beef ribs in barbecue.
all beef. No, they don't.
Yeah.
But every place I went to, like when I went last year, me and Roy went to Salt Pepper Oak. He gave us some beef rib, and you cut it, and it's not dried out,
Ooh.
but it's cooked,
Mhm.
and it's
That's low and
it's
slow.
tender.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The low and slow is the
it's
secret
like
to it.
4 hours,
And that's why you can't get a well done steak that's juicy. is because to make something well done and juicy, you have to cook it low and slow.
Mm-hmm.
Steak is not a slow cook item.
Right.
And that's
No,
what I
you
say.
won't.
If you do it in the oven for an hour at about 350, it'll be very juicy. It'll be well done, but you're eating roast beef.
Yeah.
You're not eating a steak.
But if it's going to be at a restaurant, you're going to look at time. So you're
Right.
looking at 2 minutes, 5 minutes.
Yeah. So if you're a well done steak eater, you don't ever get to complain about how long your dinner takes because you're having them cook it 3 times longer than it should be cooked.
And then Bob over here, he wants his yesterday. So yeah.
Yeah. I hate it when I see a ticket come in and there's a well done and a rare. And I hate it for that rare person that they're going to have to sit there an extra 10 to 15 minutes waiting on their food because the other person just couldn't get a salad.
Thoughts of a chef.
Yeah.
That'd be a good segment.
Well,
Thoughts
you know,
of a
most
chef.
of the friends that I've hung out with going to restaurants, if we invited someone along and they ordered well done, they didn't get invited along because they're not going to be in the same mindset we are when we're going out looking for food. This isn't an adventurous person. There's nothing wrong with that. Stick in your lane. Go to Cracker Barrel. You know, go wherever you like. Get your well done steak. But when my friends and I go out, we're going out to try something new. We don't want anything safe. What's the point? If I want something safe, stay at home.
Live on the edge.
Yeah. I want something I haven't experienced before.
Right.
Or
That's what
something
you
that
used
I
to.
know is off the charts.
Well, there you go.
But I've got a good buddy, loves good food. But every new restaurant, the only thing he ever gets is fried shrimp po' boy.
It's like my son. It doesn't matter. He's 31 years old, and since he's been 6, we'll take him to Ruth Chris, for example. And the first question out of his mind is he'll look at me or he'll look at his, look at the partner and go, "Where's the chicken fingers, dude?" That's not
That's not adult food.
that too. Yeah.
Chicken fingers is something you eat like once a year.
Yeah, that's for basketball season. That's for,
Yeah.
for the weekend game, whatever. But yeah, it's amazing to me. He'll do that every time. And he won't eat cheese because what we figured out is I think he's got a intolerance.
Oh, lactose
Yeah,
intolerant.
a gluten or something. But
No, that'd be lactose on that.
Now, we talking about like store-bought cheese or like really nice quality?
either if it's yellow cheese, ain't happening. He won't do a cheeseburger. He won't do
Just
macaroni
yellow?
and cheese.
Because it may just be the annata.
The
that
white. He
they-
won't do. He won't eat cheese. He won't do a pizza with you.
Yeah, probably lactose intolerant.
Yes.
Well, folks, get out there and support local, be local, buy local, tip those servers. Servers doing your tip.
I know a cheese he should try.
What's that?
Roll
Probably fat-free feta, but we like provolone.
Provolone, yes. Sorry.
Get